Good evening, my little Jakey friend.
Oh, yes, sir. I can boogie. I can hear a certain song. Derek, can I put you on hold for 2 minutes?
Because you're going for a pee, aren't you?
I am, but it won't be 2 minutes, mate. I promise.
I'm timing you.
Give me 2 seconds.
Oh, it's 2 seconds now.
Deo, Deo, daylight come and me one go home.
Right,
because
Dave.
Oh,
we're
right,
talking about players we're maybe going to sign here. We're not talking about players we've got here.
Can't help it.
Fuck's sake.
Yes, sir. I can boogie. I can feel a certain song. Right, that is 1 hour 11.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to go for a pee again. I've give you time in there, mate. I've give you time in.
Right, I'll see how long you are.
You'll see how long I am. Hello. You still there? Right, okay.
2 minutes exactly.
I feel better now, so
I'm glad. Hi everyone and welcome to the next and last episode of the season of the iReady podcast. As ever, I'm your host Derek and with me is my quite inebriated colleague Dave.
Way! How's it going, mate? You alright?
Not as good as you by the sound of it.
Listen, Derek, this is my weekend off. As you personally know, you used to work the same shift pattern as me. As night shift workers, our weekend is usually midweek, so I decided it was a nice day. I'll have a wee barbecue, I'll have a few drinks, and then, I knew we were doing the pod, so I've just continued drinking. It's great.
Jammy bastard.
Anyway, cheers. I'm going to have a wee drink now. Cheers. Now that is Tenerife's finest Ario, which is like sort of their own version of Morgan Spice that you only get in the Canary Islands, mate, and it's fucking delicious. So I've had quite a few of them tonight, and I'm just delighted to be speaking to you. How's it gone, mate? Are you all right?
All good. I'm not as good as you, unfortunately.
Really, and how is you the first member of you and your good lady wife's family doing? How's she doing?
She's lovely. She is sleeping now. Just now, I hope.
Oh, I know she's lovely because I have met her and I held her, and then she started screaming majorly the last time that I was at your house. But to me, that still wasn't as loud as having a 12-year-old and a 8-year-old in the house. I know it's quite hard for you and your missus to deal with the screaming sometimes, but trust me, mate, it does get louder as they get older. But no, she was an absolute gem, an absolute star, a wee, and I'm delighted for you. Like I said, the last pod, so just glad everything's going well, mate.
Yes, so a lot to talk about in this pod because obviously it's been as our usual thing. We've left it a good few weeks, so we'll just listen. No. This season you can't say that because we have been recording regularly this season, probably for the first time. This is probably the first time this season we've not recorded within 2 weeks. So no, you can't say that, mate. Well, it's only been 20 episodes, so.
that's good for us.
So
value for money. So it is 20 episodes
for
and
money. I wish we were getting paid for this.
Exactly.
Aye.
Start funding appeal, for fuck's sake.
So we'll go down the tunnel and onto the pitch.
Right, so we've obviously got to start with the manager appointment, haven't we, Dave?
We certainly do, yes. All aboard the train.
Yes, the Gerrard train. Yes, Stevie G signed on the dotted line for a 4-year deal. He's bringing Gary McAllister as his assistant. He done a fantastic press conference stating he had a feeling in his stomach, a different feeling in his stomach when he got the call, and he stated he's confident in his ability and lacking experience isn't an issue for him, but it seems to be for some other people, which is a fantastic answer. 7,000 fans turned up outside Ibrox. I am absolutely gutted I wasn't one of them, because I finished at 2 that day. Obviously there was rumours what was going to happen. I never realised that they were going to, the fans were going to turn up in that amount of numbers and then open Ibrox, so I'm gutted I never went there. Obviously there's a massive difference in media reporting it in Scotland to England and the rest of Europe, really. The rest of the countries have been fantastic and have seen it as a very positive appointment, and as usual the Scottish media decide to put an absolute downer on it and a negative spin just because it's us.
Well, Derek, all I've got to say is, personally, I have been contacted by radio stations down south, haven't we?
Yeah.
To ask for our opinion on the Steven Gerrard appointment, and unfortunately, because of work and stuff like that, we've not been able to do any interviews on there. But that shows you how the difference between the media in Scotland and the media in England are, that there has been radio stations that have been willing to trawl through the Rangers fans' podcasts to try and get an interview, and I'm actually quite gutted that I wasn't able to do it, unfortunately. But as you say, the difference is quite incredible. There has still been negative press up here in Scotland, whereas down in England it's all 100% positive about the whole Gerrard appointment, which is great for us. Derek, I spoke to you in the last pod and I said that I was sceptical about it all. I'll be completely honest with you. I said that I was worried just because of the lack of experience. I've watched back the press conference twice now, and I am in love with Steven Gerrard. That's all I can say.
Yep, that's pretty much the same feeling here. We talked briefly about it in the last pod, and for me it's a very positive appointment. I mean, when you look at the hysteria there's been from all over Europe from our fans, you never got
all over the world, mate. To be honest with you, all over the world, not in Europe.
I mean, it's a case of, there was nowhere near any of this hype when we were looking to appoint bloody McInnes, was there? It would have been a sideways appointment, and yeah, absolutely, Gerrard has got his risks with his, inexperience, and he's never managed a full team before, obviously just been their under-18s coach at Liverpool, but, what he does bring is he commands instant respect. He's got to start somewhere. Any manager would be a risk, as we said before. It's a fantastic positive appointment, and it's a coup. It really is a coup to get somebody of this stature as our manager. I can't wait for the season to start.
I can't remember, Derek, the last time that our fans, and let's be honest, Derek, we are an incredible bunch of supporters. We will back the manager 100%, like we did with Pedro, like we did with Mark Warburton, like we did with Ali McCoist. But this is the first time I think genuinely every single Rangers supporter out there is really excited for the season to come. Everybody is on an absolute high, and why not? Why not, mate? But this guy is one of the most, he's one of the most famous football players in the world in the last 10 years. It's a huge appointment for us. It's a huge appointment for him. I think he gets it straight away, and it's just we can't wait for the season to start. We can't wait to see what sort of players that he brings, and we'll get into it later with some of the signings that we've made already. But it's the more and more I think about it, it's been a fantastic move by the board.
to bring him in. I was, as I say, I was sceptical before, but now I'm genuinely excited about it all, and I'm sure you are as well.
Yeah, I mean, the similarities between this appointment and the Souness appointment are actually quite frightening. You know, Liverpool playing legend, you know, comes to manage a team, and obviously on the back of, in terms of, you know, the way the Rangers were back in the 80s compared with now is very, very similar. It's uncanny, and the only difference is he's not going to be playing, unfortunately, because I'm pretty sure he could still do a job. But
I'm pretty sure he would probably be better than some of the players that are in the current squad just now, Derek. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Obviously, there was, you know, going back on the media as well, the Transport Minister, Hamza Yousaf, tweeted prior to the appointment that we're never going to sign him. And then after the event, Rangers put out probably the most fantastic trolling tweet I've ever seen, having a go. Basically, it was a train board, we train departures board, and it had loads of cancelled trains, and then it came the actual time, 2 p.m, when Gerrard signed, and it was just, it was fantastic.
It was me that had that took control of your Twitter that day, Derek, and I had to get the old the gif out there, someone getting egg thrown in their face. I had to post that straight away because, as you say, it was magnificent. We don't give the Rangers media team a lot of credit, quite rightly so, over the last season, but that was fantastic, and I had to get my wee bit in there. We were one of the first folk to tweet back as well, which was excellent, but no, it was great. It was a fantastic reply to him. His reply showed his colours truly as to what team he supports, but I really don't care about it. It was excellent for the media team out there for a change, let's be honest.
Yep. So just getting into the games, I'm not going to cover them in great depth because they happened a while ago now. First game was Saturday the 5th of May. It was a 1-0 home win against Killie, and obviously it was the last home game of the season. There was meant to be protests and all that kind of thing by the Union Bears, but I think the appointment of Gerrard literally the day before took the sting out of that.
Yes, aye. But let's be honest, Derek, we've not beat Kilmarnock all season, so that result was actually quite a good result against them. It was a hard fought match, which I'm sure you're about to get into, but I was pleased that we actually managed to beat them because we hadn't so all season.
Yeah, I mean, it was a competent enough performance. You know, we were the better team for the first 15 minutes, I would have said, and then the last 5 minutes of the first half, but we never really tested the Killie keeper. Killie did come back into it for maybe the kind of half an hour of the first half. And they did test their keeper a couple of times. It was Jack Anakin goals, and he'd done quite a few good saves actually. Into the second half, it was, you know, Kilmarnock kind of sat back and we kind of controlled the game again, not really putting the Killie keeper under a lot of pressure. We were, you know, doing all the right things in the right areas apart from the final third, which has been a big feature of what we've been like this year.
Can I just add something there, Derek? And I've had a lot of people. I've said a lot of things on social media about this, and me and you have spoken about this. But the selection of a certain central defender for this match, I think, made all the difference. And again, we spoke about it, and there's been a lot of controversy about him because he was in, he got injured, and now he's moving away. But personally, I think the inclusion of David Bates into this game as well was a huge lift for our defence because, let's be honest, Russell Martin has been an absolute disaster in the last few games for us, and having him playing in there was a huge lift. Yeah. Also, would you agree with that?
I would say so, absolutely. I mean, because certainly the Alves-Martin combination doesn't seem to work. And
no, definitely not, no.
I don't know. I mean, certainly Alves has not been the player we all thought he was going to be. He's fantastic in the air, and I think he's won like 100% of all his headers he's went for, but he's not gelled with you know, certainly Martin anyway, and Martin seems to be the preferred guy. Probably the turning point of the Killie game, though, was when Ross McCrory came on at half time for Jason Cummins, who was never really got into the game at all, and McCrory was all over the place. And I think there was a stat where he had put in more tackles in the second half than the whole of the first team in the first half combined. It was something ridiculous like that. And
it was outstanding in the second half. It was.
One bone of contention, again, I've got to have, is Chris Boyd came off for Killie in the 71st minute, and there was a few boos around my area, but it was a lot of clapping for him. It's why. I don't understand this hankering for clapping previous players every single time they come to Ibrox or they get subbed. Maybe do it the first time or 2 times that they play against us after leaving us, but no every single time, and especially for someone who's put the boot in constantly through the media.
He has, Derek, but he also is a record goal scorer for us. I'm with you. Recently, the guy has been a nightmare, and we'll get into later. I actually said that to him not too long ago, because I met him in person, and I told him that we were quite disappointed with some of the comments that he made against us. But I think going back to the playing days, he is a record goal scorer. He scored a hell of a goal, scored more goals than what Henrik Larsson did for Celtic, which annoys a lot of people, but he did. So I think that off of a lot of what he said. As you quite rightly said there, he's put the boot in a lot quite recently, which is hard to take, especially for me and a lot of other like-minded supporters as well. I wouldn't cheer him personally just because he played with us before. I do remember him fondly, but I wouldn't cheer him, if he came off and stuff like that. So I'm with you 100%, Derek.
Yeah. Maybe another slight turning point just after that. Holt came off and Goss came on, and Goss was instrumental in the goal we did eventually get on the 85th minute, where it was a short free kick from 30 yards to Goss. Goss played a lovely lofted ball into the corner of the box, and Bates gets his head to it past the keeper, which was fantastic, wasn't it?
I was delighted for Bates because, as I say, Derek, me and you sort of champion a player every season, don't we? Let's be honest, it's been everything for David Templeton right up to David Bates, and this season it has been David Bates. I have been his biggest fan, and I've had a lot of social media arguments with certain well-known so-called Rangers supporters out there on Twitter with regards to David Bates, and I was absolutely delighted that he got pulled back in for this game and he scored, because that proved that Jimmy Nicholl has looked at all the players that we've had available and said to himself, shit, this is by far the best central defender that we've got, so I'm bringing him back for this game. And the fact that he played so well in that match and then he scored the winner, I was pleased, and again gutted that he's away from us and away to Hamburg, because I think he could be a huge asset to us. But it's the way the cookie crumbles, isn't it?
Yep. So we, obviously delighted the fact that we did eventually manage to beat Kilmarnock.
Yes.
Going into the next game here was Tuesday the 8th of May. It was a 1-1 draw against Aberdeen. Unknown to us at the time and unknown to the players as well, Steven Gerrard and his team made a secret trip up to Auchenhowie while the players were away in Aberdeen, basically to have a wee look over things, make some changes and start planning. Absolutely brilliant, and it was done in secret to minimise disruption to the team's game plans.
Perfect.
Obviously controversy very early on, just the fact that the referee is a cheating bastard. So
I love your honesty there, Derek. I really do.
I mean, being honest, I don't give in to this fact that, or this notion that the referees are cheating against us. I just think they're very, very bad at their job. But I did put a tweet out when this happened, and to say that the referees have not got it in for us is a complete lie, because they certainly referee us to a completely different standard, and it's just downright disgraceful. I mean, obviously.
So is it the fact that they're just poor referees and poor at their job? Or the referee is to a different standard, Derek? What do you think it is?
It's both. It clearly is both. They're just missing things and they're treating us, with a lot more harshly, I would have said. You can't class that as cheating, certainly, but it's certainly a harsher way of dealing with us. Obviously, everybody's seen it by now. It was never a penalty. Morelos got the ball first in the box.
It was shocking. Absolutely shocking.
The referee was right in front of you, and you can always sometimes have to take a second look at things, even on TV. But straight away, first time, and you seen that there was no way that the Aberdeen player got that ball first. It changed the ball changed direction, clearly came off the foot of Morelos, and he gave a penalty for it. And obviously Aberdeen duly scored on the 13th minute. It
was disgraceful, actually, Derek. I watched it again. It's quite good, and I keep mentioning this, but I'm watching this with my 11-year-old son, who is playing football himself and doing really well, and dealing with referees for the first time personally during matches, and he's 7-a-side matches, and he's watching it with me, and even he is looking at it through the innocence of a child and saying that's never a penalty, and then seeing Aberdeen scoring, and I can see it in his eyes, he's saying to himself, but that's not right, that's there's no way that they should be scoring that goal because it's not a penalty. And that's coming from a child, and then coming from the likes of us, Derek, who are battle-hardened to these things. We're raging about it. It's quite incredible, isn't it? It really is. And, we could see quite clearly that it wasn't and I was absolutely gutted at that point because I was sure that we were going to win this match.
I mean, that's the thing as well. It's not the first time this year that referees have cost us points, and
but Derek,
have.
Derek, it's not even the second or third time this season that referees have cost us points this season. Let's be honest. Me and you could count at least 4 or 5 times this season that we've had 1 point, which should have been 3 points. Let's be honest.
Absolutely, but at the same time we can't blame referees for our being pished this year, because there's games that the referees had no influence and we still managed to fuck it up. So we're not saying referees are the reason why we finished third. But they have been a contributing factor.
They have, definitely,
games.
Yes. I would say more than a couple, but they have been, yes. There's been quite incredible decisions against us this season, and that was another one.
Yeah. Shortly after as well, another baffling decision where Bates gets a yellow card for absolutely nothing. Basically, the players ran across each other. There might have been a slight clip, but it was certainly not a yellow card offence. It was just an accident where two players kind of ran across each other. Aberdeen had a shot off the bar just shortly after. Dorrans goes off injured in the 32nd minute. Goss comes on, probably for the better because he was getting wound up.
Yes.
I think he was already on a yellow, if I can remember right. And then just before half-time, a moment of madness from Goss where it was a shocking, reckless challenge. It should have been a yellow card. It could have even been a red card, and there was no cards given. It was just a talking to. Absolutely ridiculous refereeing, given what had went beforehand. So I don't know if that was him saying, all right, I've made a mistake before, we're given the penalty, I'll try and even it up. But as we've said before, making another bad decision on
exactly that doesn't make up the whole evening up thing. Just doesn't make up for bad refereeing, Derek, does it?
No, absolutely not. Most of the game was a pretty dull game, to be honest. I've never even too many highlights. There was not much happening either way. There was a few half chances for each team, and we eventually got the goal in the 62nd minute through Ross McCrory. There's a throw into Morelos on the left. He drives the ball in, hits a shot, the defender gets underneath it and heads it up. We spent ages in the air. McCrory awkwardly jumps up and gets to the ball at the back of his head. I don't even know if he meant it, to be honest. And then the ball looped in over the defender and into the back of the net.
To be perfectly honest with you, Derek, I was sitting watching it and I didn't even know they had scored. And that was watching it. It was a very, very strange goal. The ball came in, and then, as you say, it hit off his head, and in the next minute, everything went silent, and the ball was in the back of the net. It was a strange goal, but delighted, for us to score. Let's be honest with you, and I think in the second half we had actually played a lot. Well, we did play a lot better and deserved that goal in the second half. And delighted for McCrory because he had another very good game. He was by far our best player again in this match, in my opinion.
Yeah. And that's how the game really petered out. There was no really much others to talk about, to be honest. One thing to note of the game as well is Aberdeen, obviously, and I know we don't like talking about other teams here because it's a Rangers podcast, but there's been a big clamour and a lot of media talk about Aberdeen building a new stadium which is bigger capacity. Granted, this game was on a Tuesday night. However, we sell out Tuesday night games, especially after big games.
Yep.
And there was glaring gaps, especially behind one of the goals. It was ridiculous.
You sent me that text, Derek, and I agreed with you 100%. This for Aberdeen was the biggest game of the season for them, Derek, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah,
let's be honest. This was the biggest game of the season for Aberdeen. They were out of the cup final. This was a chance for them, if they won this game, to cement second place.
Exactly.
This was the biggest game of the season for them. So there should have been a clamber for tickets for a team that we keep hearing about how huge the Aberdeen are and the support they've got. They should have been selling the State Stadium out twice over. And as you said, you sent me the text message and you were like, for the spaces in the team, the stadium is quite incredible, and for them to be going on about getting a new stadium and all that, it's quite embarrassing for them. It really is, because we would have sold that game out twice, if not 3 times over, let's be honest.
Yep. So we'll be looking forward to them in financial difficulties in the near future.
We'll wait and see, yeah.
Just obviously that meant that we were having to rely on Aberdeen dropping points at Celtic.
Which, let's be honest, on a 99.9% of the time, there's no way that Aberdeen would win at Celtic Park. Let's be honest.
No, I mean, Aberdeen couldn't buy a goal off the Old Firm this year, never mind a win. Well,
yes,
they might have bought the referee a goal in this game, allegedly.
This year, Derek.
Yeah.
This year, are you saying?
Yeah.
I mean, the last 20 years.
Well, yeah.
When they come to Glasgow, not just this year, in the last 20 years.
So, I mean, obviously we're getting ahead of ourselves then, and we're obviously waiting on the result the next night. It was the Edinburgh Derby. So, basically, if Hibs had won, we all know the story, we don't need to go over it. So, Hibs actually lost to Hearts quite surprisingly.
Yep.
So, this whole Hibs reducing our allocation was for absolutely nothing, because it was a meaningless game. They would have had to win 6 by 6 clear goals, which we'll get into in a minute.
Yeah.
Right, so going into the last game here was Sunday the 13th of May. It was I don't even say it was a 5 each draw.
Yeah, quite incredible.
It was a bizarre game.
Totally.
Obviously, before that, as I said, it meant that Hibs to get third place would need to win by 6 clear goals, and they would go ahead on goal difference. And if we were to get second, Aberdeen would need to draw, and we would need to win. Or if Aberdeen lost, Rangers would need to draw or better.
Now, to be honest with you, mate, I thought to myself at the time, I genuinely didn't think that Celtic would get beat.
No.
I thought the Celtic-Aberdeen game would be a 0-0 draw, because Aberdeen are total shit when they go to Parkhead, but Celtic would not want to get beat, so they wouldn't be going for it. And I genuinely thought that we would win. That was what I thought. I thought that we would go out and win, and that the Celtic-Aberdeen game would be a 0-0 draw and we would get second. That was my gut feeling, but as you're about to get into, it didn't work out like that.
Yes, I'll cover this game in a wee bit more depth, because it was just an absolutely bizarre
incredible
game, wasn't it?
Yep, incredible. It really was. Yep.
We were 3-0 down within 21 minutes, weren't we? Basically, the first goal came on the 10th minute. It was a penalty to Hibs. We can't have any arguments about it. David Bates Granted, yes, the move did start outside the box and he dragged it in, but he pulled down the attacker in the box.
Yeah.
You know, as I've said before, you give the referee a decision to make, he's going to make that decision and give a penalty, isn't he? So
I know, and it's the guy that we've been championing, isn't it? That it was a definite penalty. He had a bit of a shocker. Whole defence had an absolute shocker, let's be honest with you, but I'll let you get into that, mate.
So in the 11th minute there was a good save from Anik after our defence was ripped open, and we went 2-0 down on the 19th minute, which our defence was absolutely ripped open again. It was a ridiculous goal, and then it went from bad to worse on the 21st minute. We went 3-0 down. Simple cross from the left, attacker in the in between the defence, simple header and into the back of the net. And at this point I think the whole of the Rangers support were thinking, well, that's us getting fourth place, because they're going to, the way they were playing, our defence was getting ripped apart right, left and centre, and Hibs were absolutely up for it. And I've seen that there was fans leaving the stadium, and I know a lot of people turned their TVs off as well. Yeah, I know, but to be honest with you, Derek, 3-0 down after 20 odd minutes is really quite desperate stuff, isn't it? But I know that, the die-hard fans, we certainly did this switch off or whatever at that point, but it was quite hard to take, wasn't it? Oh, it was just diabolical. I mean, that's been a feature of our game all year. It's just a really shit defence and not wanting to seem to be up for it while allowing teams to come at us, and we just weren't putting challenges in. We were backing off. It was just a horrible display. It really was, yeah. And then, kind of out of nothing, on the 24th minute, we went 3-1. Quick break down the right by Tavernier, drifts into the middle, passes right to Holt, who passed it back to Tavernier in the box, who shot the ball into the back of the net. Fantastic goal. Great goal, yes. And then, straight away, we were back 3-2, 2 minutes later. Lovely all-round move with good passing, finding Rossiter in the box, who coolly slots into the back of the net. Obviously, it meant to say that Jordan Rossiter getting a start, which was fantastic, wasn't it? Yeah, and let's be honest, Derek, after the initial shock of us being 3-0 down, he actually looked really, really good playing in midfield. He actually looked as if he was a quality player, which is what we've been looking for and what we will be looking for in the future as well. Absolutely. I mean, certainly he came with a lot of promise, and certainly he showed it obviously in the second part of this game when he was playing. Yeah. Shortly, just after a minute after that goal went in, Goss came off and Alves came on. Now, that was a tactical thing. Obviously, quite clearly, we were trying to shore things up, and we went 3 at the back at this point, I think. Yes, we did. Yep, definitely. That was Jim and Nichol trying to change things up, and to be fair to him, it did work at that point. And Goss had a wee bit of dispute when he came off as well, because I think he angrily punched the dugout as well, and I think we've had this over all season. Too many moody players, especially when they come off. You like to see that sometimes, but there's been too much moodiness in the team, I think, and they don't realise it's for the better the team. No player on that part could have had any arguments at that point, because the defence was ripped apart. So no, you're quite right. Yeah. Just before that, Rossiter did have a bad challenge. Just after that, Rossiter had a bad challenge on one of the Hibs players, and he duly got booked for it and can have no complaints. But then, in an absolute bizarre moment, a baffling moment from refereeing once again, Scott Allen, the dirty wee shite that he is, had an absolute shocking challenge on Rossiter. Clearly, it was a bit of retribution. Came in from the back. And he was only given a yellow card, but it was a clear red. Even the commentators were saying that was a clear red. Totally. Even as you say, the commentators who were one of them being an ex-Celtic player even said so, Derek. So that just shows you exactly how bad it was. It was a shocking tackle, and how the guy wasn't shown red, I honestly don't know. So we had total grounds for that to happen. It was just a terrible decision. Once again, Hibs getting the rub of the green there, and poor Lennon, decides to always throw a tantrum, which we'll get into as well, about his players not getting protection. How many times have we said that in this one season, Derek? Oh, exactly. I mean, the first game of the season started off with Hibs, I think, and obviously they won it in a completely ridiculous, disgraceful refereeing there. So. But then in another bizarre moment, we drew level 3 each in the 39th minute, which was a free kick from Alves from 30 yards into the bottom left corner over the wall. A fantastic free kick.
It was quite an incredible free kick by a guy, Derek, who we have been, let's be honest, me and you, and if that's the two of us, that has got to be the vast majority of the Rangers support out there, have been desperate to see something for this guy, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've been desperate for a wee bit of quality for this guy, and he's shown it very briefly in certain games. The world-class player that we know that he should be, and you know that free kick was absolute quality. It really was. It was a phenomenal goal, and we know that he has took great pride in this because he's retweeted it a few times on his Instagram and his Twitter page and stuff like that. He was delighted with that goal because it was a fantastic free kick. But we've just been looking for that for him all season. We've been looking for something to cheer him on because we're desperate for him to do well, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Into half-time, we're obviously feeling a lot more confident now. The fact that Hibs has thrown away a 3-goal lead, and the fact that I was confident now that at least third was secured, because there was no way Hibs were going to win by another 2 or 6 goals and go 9-3, were they? So we're just really looking out for us. It was more kind of the Aberdeen Celtic game we're looking out for. Into the second half, 54th minute, we went 4-3 with Jason Holt. It was a lovely quick move to Cummins on the right. Took it inside, cut it back, passed to Murphy, who played it wide to Holt, who was waiting and unmarked in the box, and a first time shot into the back of the net. Cummins came off just after that, and Windass came on. Unfortunately, Rossiter went off injured on the 66th minute. Fortunately, it just turned out there was a wee bit of cramp and they weren't wanting to risk him anymore.
I know, because at that point, Derek, let's be honest with you, Rossiter was the dominant player for us at that point. He was completely dominant in midfield. He was running the show, and as you say, we were all really quite gutted that he went off, but thankfully, as you say, it was nothing serious because he was outstanding, and for that being his first game back for us for a very long time, he was outstanding.
Yeah. And then, amazingly again, we went 5-3 up on the 67th minute just after Rossiter came off. It was a bad clearance from the Hibs defender out to Holt. He had a long shot from 25 yards and it deflected off Windass into the back of the net. I'm not too sure who, I think Windass was claiming that there, but goal, don't care how they come, as long as they go.
I really don't care, no. As you say, especially against Hibs, I was delighted that it went in, and we were completely dominant, Derek. That was the difference. Regardless of what you think about the goals or deflections or anything like that, we were completely dominant at that point. We had all the ball, we were doing all the pressing, and there was only one winner at that stage, let's be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, really disappointingly, Hibs pulled another goal back in the 69th minute. They went 5-4. Shocking defending again. Players getting themselves caught up in themselves. Ball rolls to the spare Hibs attacker who hits a shot into the back of the net. Again, poor defending.
Very poor.
77th minute, Murphy had a shot which was a bit of a trundler. It was cleared off the line, and just prior to that though, the Hibs player handballed it in the box. Clear as day handball. It was hand to ball, not ball to hand. The referee was in a great position and he never gave anything.
Nothing. I completely agree, Derek. I could not believe that decision was not given for us. And really, well, I'm saying I can't believe it, but going by the way that it has been this season, I can, yes, but it was just another incredible decision against that certain team, and it was just, as you say, absolutely bonkers by the referee right in front of him.
Yep. Meant to say earlier in the second half, Jason Holt got a yellow card for, again, another bizarre refereeing decision, and it was partly for holding the play up when Hibs were trying to take a quick free kick. Now, he never walked deliberately over to the player. No. He was standing in the section anyway when Hibs tried to take the quick free kick. So that's up to the Hibs player who's trying to take the quick free kick. He gets a yellow card for it. Unbelievable.
Completely. I know, I completely agree with you again there, Derek, and I try when me and you are talking about certain decisions, I try to be as partisan as possible with certain things, but again, as you say, it was unbelievable. They should never have been booked for that. It was shocking, absolutely shocking. And then, eventually what happened again was just, unbelievable, when you just knew at that point it wasn't going to be your day, was it?
No, well, Holt did get a second yellow card in the 84th minute, and this time it was justified yellow card. Absolutely pathetic from Holt. It was in the kind of halfway line towards the dugout, and he was holding back the player, quite clearly a yellow card and a free kick.
Yes, a yellow card. It should have been his first yellow card there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stupidity from the player, and it ultimately, I think, cost us the game. 89th minute, it was a good save from Anik after a shot from Hibs, and you knew it was going to be coming. Hibs managed to get a goal back into injury time on the 93rd minute. Hibs went down the left past Tavernier, who defensively he was absolutely shocking. He was just absolutely skinned. Granted, it was that Baxter, I think, who had just came onto the park, who's a pretty good player anyway. He played a simple cross on the deck, past three of their defenders, and it was a simple tap-in. Absolutely bullshit defending again.
It was comical defending again by us. Absolutely basic defenders' errors all the way. Showed them too much time on the ball. No, it didn't close them down. It was an absolute horror show of a goal. If there's any young kids listening to this right now, go and have a look at that last goal and do the complete opposite of what our so-called professional defenders did. It was embarrassing, it was shocking, it was just completely the worst decisions to make. I'm not even going to go with split-second decisions, Derek, because you could see it coming, and it was just terrible. And by guys who are supposed to be, experienced defenders in there, it was just inexcusable, the defending at the end there. I was really quite disgusted by it and annoyed, and I don't want those players anywhere near our team for next season. I really don't.
And if there's any young kids listening to this just now, Dave is a prime example of not to drink. So kids, don't do drink.
Thanks, mate.
Sorry, I had to get that one in there. And obviously after that anyway, Neil Lennon done his absolutely pathetic aeroplane celebration onto the park, and he's ended up getting himself into trouble with SFA.
Oh, so what? Do you think he really gives a shit? And do you think there'll be really any major action taken against them?
Oh,
No. And definitely not.
You have to laugh at his excuse, because right after he must have known he had done something wrong, and he started making the excuse, well, that was just a reaction to all the sectarian singing was an abuse that was getting sent to me. Do you think Walter Smith, Graham Souness, wasn't getting any sectarian abuse directed at them, and when they scored and I get it up your moment, do you think they ran on the pitch and tried to act like a fucking aeroplane?
Derek, let's be honest with you, right? Let's be honest. Let's look back, right? Now, this isn't an anti-Neil Lennon campaign, and I'm going to go. No, he is a twat. But look at the ex-Celtic managers that has been in there. Would Martin O'Neill have done that? No, I don't think so.
He just jumped up and doing like a fanny, though.
Yeah, he would have, but he would have celebrated if his team would have scored in the box. He wouldn't have done any of the pish Neil Lennon have. Would Tony Mowbray, would fucking Tommy Burns, would fucking Billy McNeil, would any of these managers have done that? No, they wouldn't. The guy is an absolute, he's a farce when it comes to playing against us. He wouldn't do that celebration against any other team, would he? Let's be honest, no, he wouldn't. It's just because it's against us, end of. So let's just no give the guy the fucking time of the day. Let's be honest with you. Let's treat him, the way that he should be. He's the manager of another team in Scotland, not even a challenger, not even an insignificance of a team. He's the manager of another team. Let's just leave it at that, end of, because he means nothing to our team.
I mean, celebrating, finishing fourth and behind Rangers, that's some achievement, isn't it?
Exactly. Even, his bitter rivals that are Hearts supporters, and I've told you before, Derek, I work with a lot of the Hearts supporters, that talk about him, and they just laugh at him, like what the manager does. That's what I do like about Craig Levein. He knows exactly the right things to say to wind up the opposition supporters, being very, very subtle about it all, but at the same time showing a wee bit of class. I do like Levein for that. But
in fairness, I don't think he's been subtle this year. He's just went for it like a brick, isn't he? He's been brilliant, actually.
He really has been. I've got to say, Craig Levein has been one of the highlights this season. He really has, against Celtic and against Hibs.
And that's saying something because he's a dour bastard, isn't he? Only Stevie Clark's more dour than him.
It has been. It's been great viewing it. It really has. It does not give a shit, does it? But I think the Rangers fans really need to take a leaf out of his book. Fuck Lennon. Fuck them all. They don't mean anything to us. They got a 5-5 draw against us. That was fucking. That'll never ever happen again, Derek. It was the end of the season. It didn't matter what happened. Celtic got beat by Aberdeen. We keep hearing this fucking sporting integrity pish that we have for years and years, but let's be honest, that was beyond sporting integrity for Aberdeen to win away against Celtic. We all know what the score was. We all know what was at stake. We finished third in the league. It's been a bit of a disaster for us this season, but we just need to go on with it, don't we?
Yeah. So as you said, we finished third. We played 38 games, won 21, drew 7, lost 10, which was ridiculous. I think there was 7 home defeats, which was just unacceptable. That's shocking. That's ridiculous. 10 games we've lost and 7 of them we've been at home. That's unacceptable.
Shocking.
We are the top. We scored 76, conceded 50, goal difference plus 26, and finished on 70 points. We finished 3 points behind Aberdeen, 12 behind Celtic, and 3 ahead of Hibs. Won 3 less than Celtic, so that gap's not massive. When you take into account that's probably that's 3 Old Firm games, isn't it?
Exactly.
But we've scored 3 more than Celtic, and we've let in 25 more. We scored the most in the league, but conceded the 6th most. So, certainly one thing on last season, we weren't scoring enough. This season we've scored enough, but we've just conceded far too many this year and dropped silly points. That's what it's been. My overall feeling with this season is it's been pretty much a disaster, hasn't it?
It has been.
Two cup semi-finals, finishing third when the remit was really to finish comfortably second, and we haven't done that. So
I know it's Derek. We get a lot of people slate us Rangers supporters, usually for the media and outside, but we are a loyal bunch of fans. We like to cheer on the manager. We give them our full, support, and we go for it in the slightest wee positive point. We pounce on it to make it huge and things like that. But it's not been great this season. It really hasn't. It's been pretty average, hasn't it? We've had a few good results, and the rest of the time it's been pretty darn average. It really has been. And I look, me and you had a wee debate, and I listened back to our last podcast, and we spoke about Alfredo Morelos, and I defended him to the hilt, and you had a wee dig at him. But you've just said there, Derek, that we've had our goals for has been actually very good this season. It's been the goals against that's really got us. And I think we have to look at the sort of failures in our defence this season. We brought in, at the start of the season, if you can remember, Bruno Alves. Now, Derek, this guy should have been a world-class player. I mean, he's been given his spot in the World Cup team for Portugal. The World Cup team for Portugal, the team that just won the European Championships. Exactly. This guy should be dominating, absolutely dominating, and he's been in and out the team, in and out, injuries, in and out, had a nightmare, had an alright game, this guy should be absolutely dominating the team. For the age that he is, for the experience that he has, I've been really disappointed. I was desperate for him to do well, as you were, as 99% of the Rangers fans. We've been desperate for this guy to be the sort of shining light, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've been desperate for this guy to be the talisman for us doing, and he's done nothing compared to what we thought he would. Let's be honest, he's done nothing. Pedro Caixinha was an absolute disaster of an appointment, and again we backed him at the hilt, didn't we? We, as supporters, we wanted him to do so well, and it was an absolute disaster. And I will put my hand up, I wanted Graham Murty to do well, because I looked at what he did before Pedro Caixinha came in, and he got stability of the team, he got us playing well. And to start off with, Derek, didn't he? Mm. To start off with, when he came back, we had the feel-good feeling again, didn't we? We brought in the players that we thought we would do well, and we were playing fantastic football, at the start of the new year, and just after that we were playing so well, and we had this feel-good feeling. We thought we were really going to go for it. We were scoring loads of goals. Jason Cummings had came into the team, and we thought, if anything happens to Morelos, we've got Cummings there, we're going to score a lot of goals, we're going to keep going. And then that one turning point for me this season, the one game, the Celtic game at Ibrox. The Celtic game at Ibrox, the second match, we were well up for it, weren't we? Our confidence was at an ultimate high, and I've had a few discussions with people on social media about this, Derek, and I'll ask you the same thing. I'll go over the same thing, and it's to do with the same player, the player I've been championing all season, Matt, the player, and everybody can slate me. But we went into that game and we were really confident. When we scored the goal, Celtic equalised, we scored again, we were well up for it. As soon as David Bates got injured, and he went off, we lost the game. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
And then after that, things just went to shit. It really did. And I think the loss of David Bates in that game alone dented the confidence in our team. I think that was the turning point in our season. Personally, everybody can turn around and say, Dave, you're talking shite. Dave, David Bates isn't that great, and blah, blah, blah. I genuinely think that is when our season turned. What do you think about that, Derek?
I'm not sure. I think there was a number of places where the points where our season turned this year. Obviously, the appointment of Caixinha, that's one straight away. The sacking of Caixinha, there's another one. The confirmation where Murty was going to be in till the end of the season, that was another one.
Again,
then down to the Bates thing. So there's been a number, I think.
Again, after your first 3 points there, Derek, Caixinha coming in, Caixinha getting sacked, Murty getting the job, right? Till that point, Murty getting the job, and bringing in Murphy, bringing in Cummings, bringing in Martin, all of these players coming in at that point. From then on, we were feeling pretty confident.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, Let's be honest. So your points before that, take Caixinha out of it, his appointment and coming in and all of that, taking that out of it. After that, we had done enough to just keep ourselves in the title race. Just about. Celtic were still in front, but we were there or thereabouts at that point. And their confidence was really high. And then for me, as I say, going into the Celtic game at Ibrox, the second game, we were well up for it. And then, as I say, as soon as Bates went off for me, as soon as he got injured, that's when I think, that's when I think that we knew that we weren't going to beat them.
Yeah.
And I had that feeling myself. So take away everything that happened before that, Would you agree with me? Do you think that's been a major thing this season? Because I've had quite a few arguments with people on Twitter about this that have told me that I'm talking shite and Bates wasn't that great and blah blah blah. But for me, when I look back at this season, that's the turning point for me.
I might not say Bates directly, but certainly that game was the major turning point for the fact that we could have taken it. If we had won that game, we could have taken Celtic to within 3 points, and I think they still had a game in hand. And it was the fact that we had played very well in that game. We should have won it.
Yep.
And it was, I think, the belief went out in the players there. So that game probably was the major thing.
I think, but as I say, personally, this is just my opinion, and again, I've had this umpteen times with various folk. I think that instant was the defining point for me for this season. For me, I don't know if you, as I say, you don't agree with that personally, but for me, that was a huge point, a huge turning point for me this season.
So I'm not really want to dwell too much on this season. I'm thank fuck it's over. That's all I can really say. The one thing I want to leave, the one stat I want to kind of leave this on, the fact is that a lot was said in the media about Kashia not being able to win 3 games in a row, and he never. And it taken Rangers up until that after Christmas point to win 3 games in a row. Sorry, it was in November. Sorry, it was November into December where we won 4 games in a row, and then we done it again in February. Celtic never won 4 games in a row this year. They could only win 3 games in a row. So there was no media clamber for that, was there?
No, definitely not. No.
There's certainly very few positives to take out this season. There are a couple, but it's been largely a negative season, and I am obviously, with the appointment of Gerrard and all the speculation that goes with that, I am so looking forward to the next coming year.
I'm the same as you, Derek. It's been a difficult season where, and again, it annoys me. Us as a support get so much negative press, but we've been so loyal to the managers, haven't we? You know, we've went to games time after time. I mean, you've got your season ticket, and even me for this season, I gave up my season ticket quite a few years ago. But this season, I've been to so many games. You know, I made a point when we were playing in League 2 to go as many games as I could, and I went to about 6 or 7 games when we were playing in League 2. And then again, when we were in the Championship, I went to a lot of games. But I've been to, you know, a load of games this season as well. We had the genuine belief again, and we've been let down. And when you think back about it, it was a disaster, a managerial appointment, wasn't it? But we still went out and we supported our club. So it's the one thing that I'll say to supporters out there is we've supported our club. We've given our support to the manager and the backroom staff there. It's them that's kind of let us down, haven't they? And that's what's great about being a Rangers supporter, because we do, you know, support a 100%, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Just obviously into the next year, there's going to be a lot of speculation about who we're going to be bringing in, who we're not going to be bringing in, who's going, who's staying, whatever. And, you know, people, I think, obviously we've seen over the last kind of couple of days with the whole Martin Skirtle thing, people need to keep the heat, I think. We will lose players that are potentially targets, but the club have never confirmed that he's a guaranteed target. And you won't find out that until he's actually paraded at Ibrox. So fans need to try and you just remember that there's going to be a lot of speculation, and every player that we're linked to seems to be £4 million. Have you ever noticed that? Moving
on from that, players that are paraded at Ibrox, there's 2 straight away that we have been. So do you want to speak about them?
Yes, well, I was going to leave that till the end, but since you mentioned it,
I'm fucking great at this. So
modesty was never a good thing, really.
Especially when I was sober.
Yes, so we have, well, it's actually 3 players when you think about it, because we've finalised the deal for Jamie Murphy, which is a permanent 3-year deal. We've signed Scott Arfield on a 4-year deal from Burnley, and the main man, Shagger, is back. He's signed on a 2-year deal from Hull. It's unknown at this stage if he's going to be number 1 keeper or not.
I think we can kind of guess that he will be, Derek. Let's be honest with you. Me and you have spoke about Fordringham numerous times on this podcast, and I was always a great defender of his, as I've been fucking vast majority of the players. Let's be honest with you, I'm the ultimate optimist in this pod, Derek, but I think the last twice that we've played Celtic have been, sorry, not the last game, but the game before that. In the games last season, we have both agreed that possibly Fordringham has not lived up to the expectations that we thought he had, and going by the season that McGregor has had at Hull, he was our player of the season. I think we're maybe possibly quite glad that he's back playing in goals, and I think we both agree that he will be number 1, yeah?
I would like to think so, yeah, because he's certainly not going to leave Hull after playing 60-odd games, I think it was, or 40-odd games, and be their number 1 keeper and coming back and sitting on the bench for us. So, player of the season, Derek, by the supporters as well. They were, there was a lot of the Hull fans. I've been looking online, social media and stuff like that, and the Hull fans are absolutely gutted that he's left. They thought the world of him. So I'm glad that we have got an experienced goalkeeper back in. Everything that happened before, maybe he's got a point to prove. Coming back to us, he's certainly a winner, and if it came down to a choice between him and Fordringham, I would certainly say that he was the better goalkeeper, which I'm sure you're exactly the same. What's your feelings on it, Derek? Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things we've lacked this year is a keeper that can command his box. We've said it, as you said, we've talked about Fordringham time and time again in this podcast. I think he's a great close-range shot stopper. However, any goalkeeper playing at this level should be able to do that.
Yes.
That's bread and butter. He's poor at his distribution. He's poor at coming for cross balls. He's poor at long distance shots. You know, he's fair enough. Attitude is great, and he's done nothing wrong that way. However, there's too many failures there for me as a full time keeper, as a number 1 keeper, and for this level.
What got me, Derek, was, and again, I hate using the Celtic games as an example, but he seems to have lost the same goal 3 or 4 times in a row against them. Exactly the same goal, which makes it quite easy for them. So no, I'm pleased that McGregor's back. I think he maybe has a point to prove with the supporters as well, which is good. And obviously he knows what it's all about, doesn't he? So I'm just glad to have an experienced goalkeeper back in there. And you know, what happens to Fordringham next, I don't know. I think he would be a fantastic goalkeeper for another team, maybe an attacking team that doesn't have as much expectation to win matches. He would maybe be a great goalkeeper, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens, Derek, because Jack Annick's done well for us as well. I don't really see much a difference between Annick and Fordringham. So, you know, we've got a good backup goalkeeper in there. I certainly think that there's been a lot of talk about who's going to be first choice, but really it's going to have to be McGregor will be our first choice. Really, there's not really any other choice, is there?
No, I don't think so. Scott Arfield, what do you reckon about him?
Well, again, this is a guy that I remember for years ago, and it's quite funny because I heard Derek a few seasons ago, again, our listeners could listen back, a player that I could not stand in our team, and apparently, I don't know how true this is, Derek, but I've heard it quite a few times, that Ali McCoist had the chance to sign Scott Arfield when he was playing for Falkirk. He had the chance to sign him for Rangers, and instead he signed Nicky Lowe.
I've heard that as well, yeah.
Now, any of our listeners who have been listening to the podcast for the last few seasons will know my feelings about Nicky Law.
Your favourite player, isn't he?
Don't want to go back to that because I will really depress myself, and I've had a lot to drink tonight. I didn't want to go into a depressive state. I was feeling quite positive about this, and then I can be thinking about the name Nicky Law. I'm pleased that we've got Arfield in. If you look at what he's done for Burnley, he's been just about an ever-present in the team, hasn't he?
Yeah.
You know, when Burnley came into the Premier League, everyone was expecting them to go down straight away, and they didn't. And this guy has been, you know, a fantastic player for them, steady player in midfield, box-to-box midfielder, just exactly what we were needing. I think ever since Ryan Jack got injured early on, Derek, this is the type of player that we've been desperate for in our team. Nothing flash, but really does do his job very professionally. And then, again, listening to the press conferences, the press conference, he was absolutely delighted to be moving back to Scotland. He knew exactly what it was to be playing with Rangers, and I think it'll be a really, really good signing for us. Nothing spectacular, but I think he'll do a very, very professional job for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, obviously a lot to look forward to here. So,
I hope so. I hope so, Derek.
We'll get into it more in the pre-season pod when it comes out in a few weeks' time. Obviously, I heard on Twitter, I think it was, there's 49 days until our next competitive game, which will be in the qualifiers for Europe. So,
yeah,
not long to wait.
No, there really isn't.
So we'll move now into the classic match.
Manchester, brace yourself. Rangers are coming!
So Dave, what classic match have you got for us to wrap up the season?
Derek, I've got an absolute classic for a classic match, I really do. So I want to take us back to 2004. Now, this was a League Cup quarter-final match at Ibrox against Celtic, and I had completely forgotten about this game. I really had, and I was there on this night, and it was a 2-1 victory to Rangers. The Rangers team that night were managed by Alec McLeish, who I met recently. We'll get into that later on. The Rangers team at that game was Stefan Klos in goals. We had Jean-Alain Boumsong, Marvin Andrews, Gregory Vignal and Zurab Kishnashvili playing in defence for us at that point. Midfield, we had Alec Ray, Fernando Rickson, and Hamed Namuche playing on the right hand side, and Peter Lovenkrands playing on the left hand side, and then up front Nacho Novo and Stephen Thompson playing for us. So there was quite a few our main players weren't playing. If you look back at that team, it wasn't a team that you would look back at that point and say that was our strongest 11, but playing against a Celtic team that I'm going to read out here, and at that point it was the strongest, one of the strongest Celtic teams that you could get. David Marshall in goals, McNamara, Valgarin, Balde, Alan Thompson, Neil Lennon, Petrov, Varga, Harps and Juninho playing in that Celtic team. So Celtic were a very, very strong team. But what gets me about this game, Derek, and anybody looking back at this game, and it epitomises the Rangers team at this point, and this was the season, this was a huge season for us. It epitomises what hard work, determination, and having players who were, had genuine pace in the team could do for you, because there was nobody in that team, that starting 11, that you could honestly say were like incredibly skillful players, was there? Let's be honest, there really wasn't. I mean, when you look at the front four, Peter Lovenkrands was full of pace. Nacho Novo again, fully pace, and Stephen Thompson, up front for Rangers. It wasn't exactly a team that you would say, you would really, really go for it, and a lot of teams, but it was sheer determination, and that's what sort of epitomised that team at that point, that whole season for me. So Rangers, right from the start, Derek, were on the front foot. They really were. And then the ball came to Marvin Andrews, who was known for being this big sort of defender that just sort of booted the ball clear. But the ball came to him and he played that incredible first touch pass. So long up front to Stephen Thompson on the edge of the box. He held the ball up as he did to Hamed Namuchi, who had a fantastic cross away, but that was fisted away by David Marshall and goals for Celtic. And then the ball was won in midfield and played on to Nacho Novo, who raced away, sheer pace. He got away from Neil Lennon. You can see Neil Lennon tried to keep up with him, and he just gave up. He gave up because he couldn't get anywhere near him. Nacho Novo cut the ball inside, and there was a shot for the edge of the box, and it was a great save by David Marshall. Rangers on the front foot. And then Novo again down the right-hand side, inside to Fernando Rickson, and then out to the left to Peter Lovenkrands, who had a shot just wide of the post. The sheer pace with Peter Lovenkrands again, Derek. Again, you just have to look back at some of the players that we had on show at that point. It was just absolute pace down there. We could counter-attack at any point. It was great to see. In the 21st minute, Celtic really had their first chance in the match for John Hartson for a free kick at a header, which he hit down on the ground and it bounced over the bar. But again, we had players in there covering, so not really that much of a chance against us. Hamed Namuchi, who had a fantastic game. We forget about him, Derek. Hamed Namuchi, he was on the right-hand side. He received the ball. He beat his man hands down in a fantastic cross for Nacho Novo, the weeest man in the park. Great header, just over the bar. But then at that point, midway through the first half, Stephen Thompson pulled up with an injury, and Dado Purcell, who had been unfit, he couldn't start the match, he came on for Stephen Thompson at that point. And then Celtic had a chance, but quite an incredible sliding tackle challenge by John Allen Boomsong, a last-ditch tackle from Alan Thompson. It was quite incredible to see. Slid right through, great slide and tackle. And then Marvin Andrews, there was a ball played into defence. Marvin Andrews, with a header, and it was like a clearance, but he headed the ball so far. Marvin Andrews could probably head the ball further than we could hit it, right up to the halfway line to Dado Purcell, and then it came on the edge of the box, fell to Nacho Novo, who had a shot and a fantastic save by the goalkeeper. All came from Marvin Andrews' header. It went in there though. John Allen Boomsong again, great pass up to Dado Purcell. We played a 1-2 with Fernando Rickson, played it back to Purcell, then on to Nacho Novo at the edge of the box, and he then tried a 1-2 after that with Dado Purcell, who was clearly held back at the edge of the box. Clear as day, should have been a free kick to Rangers at the edge of the box, not given, no foul. The referee allowed play to carry on. Really quite unlucky there. And then Hamed Namuchi with a long shot, which was just over the bar. Complete dominance, total pressure by Rangers, but we could not make it happen. We couldn't score a goal. And then half-time whistle was blown, 0-0. But we continued into the second half, Derek, and we had about 9 corners at that point to Celtic's 0 corners. It showed you the dominance of that game. Then Dado Purcell picks up the ball in midfield, on to Novo, who held the ball up, back to Dado Purcell on the right-hand side of the box. He shoots it just over the bar, again, all over Celtic. And then out of the blue, completely out of the blue, Celtic took the lead.
Celtic will take the second corner. Coming in, Hartson looking for it! And John Hartson scores for Celtic!
Alan Thompson slips, and I mean he slips, Derek. Nobody near him, he slips. The referee gives a free kick. No reason to give a free kick apart from Alan Thompson slips. Long ball up to the edge of the box, and Varga hits the bar. It's cleared by the Rangers defence out for a corner, and from that corner John Hartson scores the goal. Absolutely diabolical. Should never have been a goal. You know, the whole build-up play before that, we were all over them, and it just shows you how these things can happen. Celtic had scored the goal, didn't deserve it. That was like the sort of only chance for the last sort of 30 minutes, including the first half into the second half. Shocking. But to be fair to Rangers, never say die in that season. Straight away, we should have scored. Should have scored within about a minute after that goal. Lovenkrands cut the ball back to Hamed Namuchi, who had a shot, and it was deflected just wide for about 2 yards. Out for a corner to Rangers. Corner came in, Marvin Andrews' header saved. And then, you know, we thought it wasn't going to be our day. Peter Lovenkrands came off, Shota Avaladze came on, and then not long after that, Rangers eventually we got the equalising goal.
And Thompson's given it away. Here comes Shota Avaladze. On to Nachanova. Avaladze's made the run, comes back to him, leaves it back. Namuchi! Good save, Prushel! It was a terrific move by Rangers. David Marshall could do nothing, and his first Old Firm goal, he's dreamt about it. Dado Prushel makes it Rangers 1, Celtic 1.
Day is a day, oh. Daylight come and we want go home. Day is a day, is a day, is a day. Daylight come and we want go home.
And it all came from a mistake in the midfield by Celtic. Celtic gave the ball away, and it was picked up by Shota Avaladze, who had a fantastic ball to Dado Purcell on the edge of the box. He backheeled it. It was great play because you could tell he was off balance. Backheeled it to Hamed Namuchi, who had a great shot for the edge of the box. Saved by Marshall. Good save, but only straight to the feet. Dado Purcell, who slotted it away to make it 1-1 to Rangers. I've written down here, Derek, well deserved, but that is a complete, you know, we completely dominated the game at this point. We should never have been one goal behind, never mind scoring a goal to make it 1-1. So, you know, really well deserved for Rangers. Then, just after that, there was a scramble in the Celtic box, and Marvin Andrews just scooped it wide. Marvin Andrews was up for the corner, he just scooped it wide. And then Dado Purcell had a fantastic cross to Shota Avaladze, just shot the ball over the bar. That was just after the 90 minutes, and because it was the League Cup quarter-final at that point, the full-time whistle blew, and it was into extra time. And I remember I was there, Derek. I remember it clear as day. I was early shift the next day, so I knew that I wasn't going to get home about midnight. I wasn't going to get much of sleep. So all I kept saying to myself was, surely we're going to win this game. It's not going to be as bad as me being absolutely shattered from my work the next day. If we get a victory here, I'll be delighted. But it went into extra time. In the first bit of action in the extra time, John Allen Boomsong actually cleared a shot off the line. It was probably the only chance that Celtic had. It had a trundle of a shot that beat Stefan Klos. Didn't really trouble us that much, let's be honest with you. John Allen Boomsong cleared it. But then on the 100th minute, 10 minutes into extra time, Rangers got the goal.
Picked up by Rickson, nice little slip ball, and that beautifully worked by Rangers. Rangers rampaging forward, nobody's coming to Rickson. They've got a choice of left or right. It should come to Shota Avaladze. Controls Avaladze! The perfect counter-attack puts Rangers ahead in the League Cup quarter-final. They move the ball from back to front. Fernando Rickson on the edge of his box, and substitute Shota Avaladze shoots Rangers into the lead.
All night.
actually started from a Celtic free kick into our box that was headed clear by big Marvin Andrews, the fucking man Marvin Andrews, one of my favourite players of all times. He headed the ball clear to Fernando Rickson and he just went on a run. And we keep forgetting, Derek, about how good a player Fernando Rickson was when he got moved into midfield. Alec McLeish moved him from right back into midfield. He was a fantastic midfield player for us. He picked the ball up on the edge of his own box. He played it to Hamed Namuchi on the right-hand side. Namuchi then played a 1-2 with Rickson. Rickson picked it back up in the halfway line and he ran forward. Nobody went near him. Nobody could get touch him. And then he seen shot at Avaladze to his left-hand side and he played the ball to Avaladze. Avaladze took one touch, looked up and hit a fantastic shot low into the left-hand corner. A tremendous goal for Rangers, and that put us 2-1 up. Absolutely fantastic. We were well on top at that point, and that just totally crumbled Celtic. Totally crumbled them. They couldn't get back, and they knew that whole game that they were incredibly lucky to even score one goal against us. We were completely dominant. That game won it for us. And then we just saw the game out after that, Derek. We passed the ball about, we stopped Celtic from playing, and it was a fantastic game, and it just came down to sheer determination. Obviously you can remember the game, Derek. I don't know what your actual thoughts were of the match.
Yeah, I think you said that key there is determination. It was that
kind of
never say die type attitude, and I think that's lacked the last couple of years with Rangers. We just seem to just fade away, and that team played.
It was just if you look at the actual team that he set up that day, Derek, there was no sort of ball players in that game. There was no sort of playmakers in the team. It all came down to hard work and sheer pace in that team. If you look at it, Novo and Lovenkrands, for the sheer pace in the team and in the hard work. I think you have to look back, Derek. That was one of the best games that Hamed Namuchi played for us, and it's a player that we kind of forget about, isn't it?
Yeah.
But in that match, he was absolutely fantastic and just a young guy. And unfortunately for him, it just sort of petered out after that. Great scouting to find a guy like that at that point in his career. I honestly don't know what happened to him after that, do you?
No.
There's one for any of our listeners out there. What the hell happened to Hamed Namuchi? Because after, on that match, he was playing on the right-hand side. You look back at the match, and I watched the sort of extended highlights of the game day. The guy was absolutely fantastic. He was incredible. Hard-working, fast, great tackling. His passing was excellent, and he had an eye for goal. He had a few chances to shoot and goal. Fantastic player, in that match, and it's just quite strange how guys like that just sort of peter out and we forget about it. But going back to the game, if you have a chance to watch that game back, absolutely fantastic, just for sheer determination in that season. It's a season that we'll always remember. That season, it was just great, and under Alec McLeish, you had a sense of, just really sort of the hard work ethic, I think that we've been missing for the last few seasons. So great stuff. If you get a chance to go and watch it, going back, have a look at it. League Cup quarter-final 2004. Great viewing.
Absolutely. So we'll now move into the news.
From ITN, the ITV News at 10 with Trevor McDonald.
Right, so just a couple of boardroom things here. Directors Paul Murray and Barry Scott have resigned from the board. Murray was a long-standing board member, and Barry Scott had only been in the job, on the board 6 months. Probably likely to oversee his investment when he bought half of Ashley shares. Not overly concerned about that just now. It's a potential precursor to any investments that may come in. However, Dave King since said that there's no any external investments looking now. So I'm not overly concerned about that. Dave King has came out and confirmed the hold up with making his share offer in relation to the takeover panel. Basically, it's the takeover panel changing their mind and changing the goalposts by the look of it. They wanted the funds ring-fenced, which Dave King agreed. They then wanted the funds in the UK rather than South Africa, which they agreed, but he said that he would need an extension to allow him to get that through all the loopholes between the authorities. They didn't agree on the extension. And basically King's confirmed it's nothing to do with the football club, it's between him, the shareholders and the takeover panel. So regardless what some of the Moonhowlers would like you to think, it's nothing of concern.
Yep, okay.
The strange one here, I thought Dave King had some sort of press release type thing after the Monday after Gerrard got announced, and it was made up to be this big thing. I don't know if it was some fans had kind of decided to make out it was more than what it was.
It was a bit of an anticlimax, Derek, wasn't it? Because I think there was lots and lots of stories going on. And again, this is what happens with social media. Things get built up into a frenzy, doesn't it? But we were all expecting quite a big announcement, and so it was a bit of a damp squib, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the speculation was that there was going to be a big investment, and it must be on the back of, Gerrard signing, because he wouldn't have had a big transfer budget, and he wouldn't have signed without one. But basically it was there's going to be a share issue, and it's going to aim to raise £6 million. Now, on the back of that, you might think that's pretty pathetic, but £6 million, and it's meant for working capital. The media and the obsessed ones took that £6 million is going to be the transfer budget for Steven Gerrard. Nowhere in any of the releases was that confirmed. And quite rightly, Rangers won't say publicly what the transfer budget is, because then it gives the selling team the advantage. If they know that we're sitting on a budget of £20 million and we're putting in a £1 million offer for a player that they maybe value a wee bit more than that, they might say, we know how much you've got, so fuck off. He's also confirmed that they're not in talks with any new investors, which I thought was quite strange, but we've got to trust the board on that one. And he also rubbish rumours of David Murray investing, which seems to get rolled out every so often by certain media and the obsessed, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. So it was a total anticlimax, Derek. It really was. We all thought there was going to be some sort of major announcement made. It wasn't made. So we basically just have to live with it. But as you say, the negativity on that has been incredible. I think we've all spoke about Gerrard coming in. We've all spoke about he wouldn't come unless he knew there was going to be some sort of investment involved there. So we just have to hope and pray that is the case, and everything's been ironed out, and there will be money to spend in the team. But like what you said, there was a huge expectation built over what we thought was going to happen, and it didn't happen. Whether something's happened in the background that we didn't know about, but it's quite strange that it was built up so highly. For all highly, is that a word? Sorry, we'll say that again. It was just strange that it was built up, so much for the supporters that we all knew about it, and then nothing happening at all. It was very strange.
I think, again, that's some fans have got to, from our own perspective, have got to keep the heat, as I said before. So, next thing here is, you couldn't really make this up, could you? The SFA have charged Rangers over our 2011 UEFA licence, which the SFA issued us.
Yes.
It's in relation to the wee tax case, and it relates into comments made on the back of the Craig White case in court last year. Basically, they've taken 9 months to clear us of one charge, but then make up another charge on the back of it, which relates to something that happened 7 years ago, which UEFA have got a statute of limitations of 5 years on, so they can't do anything about anyway. It's something, as I said, the SFA issued us anyway, because they have to clear it in the first place, and it gets rubber stamped by UEFA. So the only thing the SFA can do on the back of this, if they find us guilty or we accept it or anything like that, is issue us a fine. Somebody said it ranges between £1,000 and £5 million. I'm not sure where they get that figure from. Or ban us from the Scottish Cup. Well, if it's a ban, go and please fucking do it then, because I'm pretty sure the sponsors of that competition will have something to say on that one, won't they? If the biggest team in Scotland, get chucked out of it over absolute bullshit, trumped up, made up charges.
Quite incredible.
And we're the ones that are told, just move on.
Yeah, exactly. It's incredible. It really is. It's like constant, Derek, isn't it? It really is.
It's all to, it's quite clearly, and as Rangers have said, it's all to suit certain elements and benefit individuals. Rangers released a great statement on the back of it, calling it out for what it was, stating that instead of investing in youth football and grassroots football, the SFA are wasting more money going after something that has no merit or outcome. Absolutely correct.
Yes.
What benefit is it going to be to anyone? If there's wrongdoing there, fine. But there's quite clearly they investigated one thing and they've made up another charge because they couldn't find anything there. That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
And this is on the back of a new chief executive of the SFA as well, by the way. Quite clearly put in place by, elements that want to do the Scottish game and Rangers harm.
Yes. I completely agree with you, mate. It's incredible, and it's constant stuff now. It's like, if we can't find any grounds to punish them, we'll try something, completely different to try and get them. It's just this constant. It really is, and it's again before it was us that made the decision, but we're not happy with it, so we'll try whatever we can to punish them again. It's quite. If you were looking in from the outside, it would be laughable. But because it's us, we're looking at it as if to say, this is just another kick in the teeth again. And it's incredible. It really is.
And apparently part of the 5-way agreement was the fact that no further charges in relation to any of the tax cases will be brought against Rangers if it's found. So they're just going against their own agreement that they've just made.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, fucking hell, that's all I can say. Moving on, we go into a few more signings and trials and things like that. Bayern Munich 20-year-old Thomas Isherwood has had a trial at Rangers. There's been no any more about it.
Well, again, he is apparently, and again, this is just going by a few reports that I've heard on social media. He is still a part of the plans. He is still on trial as we speak. Apparently he's a bit of a tank, Derek. He's apparently fucking huge.
I hope that wasn't
this guy. No. No, that's no Raymond slang for Chris Sutton. No. No, this guy is apparently massive and very solid, great in the air and stuff like that. So apparently he's still on trial as we speak and will be remaining on trial for a few weeks. But again, this is just stuff that I've read, quite a few various social media reports on this guy. But I hope it's true. If we've maybe found a wee gem here for defence, then go for it. Hopefully he does well. But certainly by everything that I've heard about him, he's certainly the type of player that we're looking for.
Yep. Next one here, Miles Bierman has signed a new deal which keeps him here until 2019, so I'm guessing his contract was expiring this year and he's signed a year extension. Goss has went back to QPR. He's one who started off fairly well, and he just kind of faded, didn't he?
Yep, he did, and then he came back at the end and done quite well. I think we all had sort of mixed opinions about him. I think we all thought he was technically a very good player, but when it came down to the sort of hard, nitty-gritty matches, he was maybe needing to harden up a wee bit, Derek. Yeah. Maybe am I being fair there?
Quite possibly, yeah. Next one is youngster Jordan Thompson has left the club, having secured Livy's promotion 24 hours beforehand. So I don't know if he's just going to stay at Livingston after that. But that's one of the disappointing ones, because from obviously getting released from Manchester United, and he came highly rated at us with.
He did, yeah. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah, but fair play to him though, Derek. He's went to Livingston and done well, and Livingston have got promotion to the Premier League. He's maybe thought to himself, well, I'm playing well here. I'm quite happy playing for the team. I know that Ryan Hardy was playing there on loan as well. I don't know if they'll try and get him back for the season. It would maybe be a good move for him, because that's another player that we would highly thought of. But fair play to him, Derek, if he doesn't think that he's going to make it with us and he's got a chance to play for a team in the Premier League, then I wish him all the best.
Yep, absolutely. And absolutely gutted about this one, Dalshiel has left the club.
Oh, disaster, I know. left the club for who?
He's just left the club. I think he's went way back to his...
he's got a job in Aldi in Lisbon somewhere, probably, eh?
Well, he was only on a season-long loan, so I'm surprised he lasted that long. But
just a guy who... Let's be honest, Eric, if it was me or you, we would probably have acted the same way that Dalcio had, getting as many selfies with Rangers players as possible on social media, and just delighted to be here and getting a wage for them, wasn't he?
Exactly.
He had his one game that I can remember in our Europa League match against Progress, which was a disaster, and that was probably the last time that we've seen him, wasn't it?
Yeah. Next thing here is Jimmy Nichols confirmed that he's going to be leaving the club, so that's a bit of a shame, but I think he knew what the situation was when he joined.
Yep.
Next one here, it's been confirmed that Carlos Peña's loan deal has been terminated. He did go missing for 2 days with reports that he was on a bender, and then he posted a tribute to his mother, so I'm not actually sure if she died or anything like that, and he was taking time out, so I don't know.
You would like to think that would have been reported officially, though, eh?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, there's a player there, he just needs to screw the nut, and that's...
We've said that.
I don't think he can.
We've said that a few times, Derek. He has got the ability to score goals. He's came over to Scotland and he proved that, playing as the... I think a few people have said that he's a striker. He can play a striker's role, but he is a midfielder, if you know what I mean, or he's a midfielder that could play a striker's role, scoring goals, making that, he can find space in the box. So there's definitely a player there, Derek. We've said that, definitely, but I think it's going to take some doing to get him to play his top, potential. Whether or not we've got that, I don't know. I don't know if we'll see him back playing for Rangers or not. We've certainly reported us paid a lot of money for him, so it's just that it's a baffling one. We all wanted him to do well, didn't we? We were all quite excited when he came over, him and Herrera, but it really didn't work out, did it?
Yeah, unfortunately not. And this is a baffling one here, and it just shows you how much of a twat he is. Michael O'Halloran was spotted amongst the Celtic fans in the Scottish Cup semi-final. Scottish Cup final there. His agent has since came out and apologised, stating that he was asked for a neutral ticket as Motherwell had shown interest in him, and he'd never realised it until it was too late.
Derek. Me and you privately have spoken about this guy, and we spoke to a good friend of ours, Gordon, who rates him highly. Regardless who he's playing for, or who you don't go and sit in the end of your rivals and amongst your rival supporters. It wouldn't matter if you were a Manchester United player and you went and sat in with the Manchester City fans. It wouldn't matter if you were a AC Milan player and you sat in a cup final with the Inter Milan players. I'm not taking this whole Rangers Celtic thing. He went and sat in with the supporters of our biggest rivals, regardless who you support. To me, that there's no turning back after that, Derek. That is a slap in the face to all of us supporters, all of his players, all of his teammates. Fuck, the guy gets paid a shitload of money, Derek. A shitload of money to play for our team. And he slapped all of his fucking teammates in the face by doing that. In my opinion, I don't know if you feel the same way, but there's no fucking turning back for the guy after that.
Oh no, I think that's him done. And I think the fact that if his agent was trying to justify it by saying, "Oh, Motherwell had shown interest in it," asked
pish, utter pish.
Didn't he hold back, Dave?
Utter pish. It really is. That is absolute fucking nonsense. We were playing Motherwell, but I fucking went and sat in the Celtic end with all the Celtic players.
Exactly.
How much bullshit do you want, Derek? That is an ultimate slap in the face to all of us. And I want him out our club now. I really do. And you know me, Derek, I'm all one for giving guys a second fucking chance. But that is inexcusable. And it's not a fucking Rangers Celtic thing. That is a football thing for me. You do not go and sit in the stand of your rival team and amongst all the supporters, regardless what team you play for. End of. I want the guy out of our club as soon as possible.
Yep. A couple of non-Rangers related things here. Obviously the shocking news we heard about Sir Alex Ferguson suffering a brain hemorrhage a few weeks ago. The operation went well and he's still recovering apparently, and not had any other updates from that. But
no, there's not. It's been very quiet, hasn't it?
We wish him well all the same though.
Definitely, yep, 100%, yes.
Legend that is Clint Hill has announced his retirement, and as we said, he's about to he's just signed the assistant position with Joey Barton at Fleetwood Town, which is a bit crazy, isn't it?
I think we've all got the greatest respect for Clint Hill, haven't we?
Yeah.
He really was a good player for us. He came in, he tried his best, a guy at his age, and he got the defence sorted out as much as he could. It was hard going for him, but we wish him all the best. But the fact that he's going to be Joey Barton's assistant manager at Fleetwood, it just there's a premonition for disaster there. I hope for his sake it's not the case, but you just have to laugh at that,
Talking of retirements, Dick Advocaat has admitted that he finally may retire after failing to save Sparta Rotterdam from relegation. He's apparently had 22 jobs in football. Crazy.
Yes. Yep.
So he said about retirement before, I think when he left, was it Sunderland?
Yes.
Or Southampton, I can't remember, I always get them mixed up.
I think it was Sunderland, yep.
But, he never retired, obviously, so we'll see what happens there. And the last main bit of news here is in Pro Evolution Soccer 2019 will include Rangers and the rest of the Scottish Premiership after agreeing a licensing deal. So I don't play it anyway. So
no, it's my wee boy plays FIFA, which we're in there, and I would like to say that for the first time in about 6 months I beat him the other night.
Aye, but what about FIFA?
Oh, that's terrible.
That was in protest.
You know that's not the case. Come on.
I'm joking, just in jest. I thought it was quite quick.
You're shocking. That's terrible. Right, I'm away. Goodbye.
Yes. So, in the last episode, we've got one last story to go over.
Oh, here we go. Dread to think.
Woman found with loaded gun inside her vagina at traffic stop. A Missouri woman named Annika Watt, not Annika Rice, Annika Watt, was found with a loaded handgun hidden in her vagina during a traffic stop. She pleaded guilty on Friday to weapons possession and drugs charges. She was stopped on the highway where heroin and ecstasy were found in her car. Annika, 27, pleaded guilty to 2 felony charges as part of a reduced sentence agreement that also requires to testify against an acquaintance reported the smoking gun. Don't know what that means. She put the gun inside her vagina in a desperate attempt to hide it from police, but the loaded Kimber .380 caliber handgun was discovered during a cavity search. They do a cavity search during a traffic stop in the middle of the road then.
Could you imagine if she farted?
I wouldn't like to know.
She farted and killed the police officer that was standing behind her.
Upon searching the car, they found a significant amount of drugs and arrested her. Her Kimber .380 caliber gun is about 3.6 inches long, and when it's not loaded, it weighs 13.4 ounces.
3.6 inches long?
No, 5.6 inches long, sorry.
Right, so that's about the length of my leg.
Your third leg.
In man's terms.
Strangely enough, this sort of thing happens more often than you might think. Back in 2013, Christy Dawn Harris was arrested also on drugs charges. It turned out that she was packing heat between her legs. She was eventually sentenced to 25 years in prison. The police officer who searched her said at the time, I observed at the time that a wooden and metal item is sticking out of her vaginal area.
She was packing heat.
Yeah. She then pulled the item from her vagina and found it to be a 5-shot revolver with rounds in the chamber.
And it slipped out her hands.
Ah, exactly.
On that note,
yes. So, all we can say is thanks very much for listening over the last year. It's been a tough year. We've managed to do more episodes than we've done previously, I think, for a season. So thanks very much for listening. We do have our Facebook page, our Twitter page, our YouTube page. I'll be making a few changes in the closed season, a few different things. So keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah. It has been a good year for us, Derek. Let's be honest. We've had a couple of guests on the podcast. We've had Snagsy from the We Welcome the Chase podcast. We've had we've had Graham from Epic Promotions, which I had the pleasure of accompanying him to the Scottish Football Sports Writers Player of the Year Awards the other night, which unfortunately it was all the Celtic players, but I had the pleasure of meeting Alec McLeish and Derek Johnson, which was great for me personally. Alec McLeish was an absolute gentleman, I have to say. He really was. I asked him a few things about what was going to be happening with Rangers, and he, being diplomatic as he has to be as being the Scotland manager, he says that he was very confident that Steven Gerrard was going to be a success at Rangers. So I was delighted at that, and met quite a few of the Scottish media, which I will keep my own personal opinions on. Some of them were as we have suspected would be, and some of them haven't been. That's all I can say, but I did say that I was a part. We were the I Ready podcast. I did keep that. I told them all that's who I was, and that's what I did. And to be fair to them, they were very respectful of us, considering we are relatively one of the sort of smaller podcasts, Derek, but they were very respectful of that. Every single one of them that I spoke to, and I spoke to a lot of them, so I have to say that was good at that point, just to see exactly how things went. And I really hope and pray this time next year that it's going to be all the Rangers players that are going to be at the awards night. and hopefully Graham will get me tickets for that.
Sell out.
I really do. Exactly. No, but it was good because there was a few ex-Rangers players there, and a few sort of bits of some stories that I'll tell you about when we've stopped recording, Derek. But no, it was good to go and see. But going back to this season, Derek, it's been hard going for us, hasn't it? Again, we've been full of hope, and we've supported the team majorly. I know that you've had your season ticket. I've been to quite a few games this season as well. It's no worked to it like we thought it would be, but I hope and pray that the Steven Gerrard thing is going to be a major success, and we just have a good feeling about it all, don't we? And we just have to go on board the Gerrard train and give him our full support, as you know, I suspect that the Rangers fans would. So keep going, guys. Follow, and thank you very much for listening to us. It's been a pleasure for me and Derek. We do enjoy doing this. It's been a lot of work, a lot of hard work, especially for Derek.
I was going to say that. I don't know where you're getting that.
But we do enjoy doing it, and take care, folks. And as I say, we'll see you next season.
Choo choo.
Thousands of supporters, and we don't do walking away.